Hello, heretics, and welcome to Veritas Voices. This is Lilith. I'm here with Renee, and we are here for another episode of Crazy Christian Tweets. As Renee has pointed out in the past, we also add some Muslim madness and are happy to add any other religious insanity you find. So we're thinking we might need to rename the series. We posited a couple of different ideas. What was yours, Renee?
Well, the one I suggested was terrible theistic tweets, TTT. But we are also open to any recommendations from viewers out there.
Absolutely. Well, you posited terrible theistic tweets. I posited batshit believers, which of course we could always put an asterisk on for YouTube's delicate sensibilities. But whatever, actually, you know what? Let us know in comments below or on Twitter which of those you like, or if you have another suggestion, maybe we can put a poll up on the channel account. Anyway, but enough of that. We are going to start the crazy. Let the lunacy begin. Yeah. All right, Renee. You promised to start this one, so.
Yeah. The first tweet, which we're going to cover, is from Trent Horn. First thing you have to know about Trent Horn is he's a Catholic. And that's also sort of what makes his tweet funny. Because he had this to say within his tweet. I love hearing little kids and babies at church. The old saying is true. If you don't hear any crying, then your church is dying. So,
oh, fuck. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I know what he's saying. I've gone to churches where sitting at the back, the view is shades of gray, 50 shades of gray at least. But, oh, bad wording, especially for a Catholic. I mean, always, but holy frickin' shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I also said on Twitter, as a Catholic, the Catholic Church is traditionally very good at making children cry.
And that was an excellent point and tremendously accurate. Oh dear, yeah. I mean, it's a huge part of what the ex-evangelical movement is doing to Christianity with a lot of people who were raised in the church, leaving either just the more crazy fundamentalist evangelical controlling nutjob ones, or possibly just leaving religion altogether. I got a copy of Empty the Pews. I'm really excited to read it. It's hard to read, not from a the language point of view, but just emotionally, to sit down with these stories and see so many of the same pains. And those are the people who are also having children. So they aren't at church, their children aren't at church, and lots of churches are seeing the effects of their actions. Chickens roost. But oh dear God, no. Catholics, no! Bad Catholics!
Like I said, I mean, he is right in the respect that if you don't have today's generation within church, then your religion is dying. And I think that we are living in a time where God is slowly being buried. Sort of like many people don't get their values or the information from the church anymore. They get it from science and from other avenues, but the way he phrased it is just, especially for a Catholic, it's not
bad idea, people.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what? Good riddance. Good riddance. Yeah. Especially to the Catholic Church. People are whining about oh God, what was it? The commercial with the drag queen on it. I think,
like from the Super Bowl.
yeah. Oh, I should have got that. What's his crazy ass pastor? The one who was always screaming at the camera
Pastor
and
Luck.
ignores. Yes, yes, he was going on and on about it. I should have grabbed that tweet, but it was a link to his video rant, so it really wouldn't have pictured well. But I pointed out to him that statistically speaking, children are infinitely safer with drag queen story hour than they are at a church. So maybe shut the fuck up. Just an idea.
Personally, I have not seen the Super Bowl because I'm not very interested in football, and also because the Super Bowl was going for me at, I think, 2 in the morning, and I was going to wake up for that, but
that's okay. All the commercials will be on YouTube now.
Yeah. I've heard that many Christians have gotten very angry about some commercials.
Yeah, but that's good. You know, they like to get angry over something. They need something to get vindictively upset over. And that provides them the satisfaction they want. So that's great. Thank you, Super Bowl, for giving fundamentalists something to piss and moan about. They were really feeling deprived in that area lately. But if you'll forgive me, now this one you found from Saqib Mir, who we featured before. He is in fact Muslim, and I think he wants to promote a more less violent version of Islam, which I approve of. But unfortunately, he does it by saying false and stupid things. For example, when someone was pointing out a few biological inconsistencies in his holy writ, he decided to say, dragons do exist. You should do some research, and sent a picture of the Komodo dragon.
Which is a lizard.
Yeah, as if the lizard that we named far, 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 far later after the mythical creature was somehow evidence of the same thing as the mythical fire-breathing dragon.
Yeah.
Has logic.
Like something which I also challenged Mon is if I was to rename myself God, or if I was to rename myself Al, would he get on his knees and worship me? Because then I would be God, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, as much as anyone. Good God. Oh.
But obviously, he's never consistent, and yeah, I mean, just because we named a biological creature or biological species dragon, it does not mean that it fulfills any of the criteria that dragons have.
Yeah, that's a unique, special kind of. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's freaking insanity. But you know, it's not the craziest justification I've ever heard of for trying to pretend that what's said in a holy book is accurate to reality and science. It's not the least crazy either.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Isn't it
also
nice? Sorry, go ahead.
That's also something that creationists often argue, that actually how we came up with dragons was via dinosaurs. Like we were living together with dinosaurs, but they just called them dragons back in the day.
Right, because reasons. Yeah, it's I don't even, it's moments like this. I can't find words. I just want to face palm until my head hurts, but my head already hurts because 'tis stupid. Okay. Now, I wanted to take this one on because while you took the screenshot, we both responded to this bitch. And yeah, I have no apologies for calling Yakva a bitch. She says, unpopular opinion, a woman fighting to nurse openly in public without covering up is the definition of a loose, immoral woman. A God-fearing woman would never consider it natural to reveal her body in public, no matter the context. Now, a little further down, she also commented that breasts were intended for the pleasure of men, that was their function. Obviously, I think this is bullshit, and men have no right to my breasts, whether they're covered or uncovered. But I have to say, even the most batshit, out to lunch, fundamentalist, literalist, submit to your man, a transformed wife type of lunatic.
Yeah,
I have never heard one of them imply that the purpose of breasts was more your husband's pleasure than it was to actually nourish children. I mean, isn't that the whole point of the pump out as many babies as you can because that's your only function in life because Jeebus?
Well, apparently it's also being there for your man so that your husband gets to enjoy your body and your boobs. Apparently that's also the other reason that God has created women, which is, by the way, not unbiblical because, like the stuff with the breasts is unbiblical, but God creating women for just as an
afterthought,
as an
accessory.
afterthought and as something for men to enjoy, sort of as their helper, that is biblical. But yeah.
Well, and that, let's face it, that was just revenge for the fact that women are the source of all life. So basically, they depend on us to exist. So they want to pretend that it's really the other way around. Pretty freaking. Anyway, I cannot even. Like, what a disgusting person. What an incredibly disgusting human being.
Yeah. I mean,
to think that it's because the idea of immoral loose women are, slutty women to someone like her. You're feeding a baby. Again, I get it that you might think it's inappropriate to reveal the breast because people are going to see it or whatever, but you're not being slutty. It's a baby. That's the primary function of breasts.
Yeah.
That's not the only way they can be used, by all means. But baby gotta eat.
Yeah. And like I said, also in Germany, for instance, it wouldn't be an issue. I think in America it very much is an issue. But if you are a man and if you are bothered by it, then you can either look away or you can walk away. But it's not your place to tell a woman that she cannot feed her baby. It's not a place to tell a woman what she can do with her body and what she can't. And if you get crazy about it, if you get sexually excited about it and you don't want that, then look away.
Are you seriously asking men to turn their heads slightly and focus on something else? How could you be so demanding, Renee? I mean, they'd have to not only move their muscles slightly, but they would have to think about something else, which would take effort. Obviously, it's much easier to just wrap all the women in giant canvas bags.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar. Jesus, what awful people. Awful, 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 terrible people.
Yeah. Like if you don't have the power to think with anything else but with your dick, then that's not your problem, it's yours.
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm not sure why I am responsible for the content of other people's brains. I'm not. That's their job.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, since you now covered 2 tweets, I think that I should maybe try to tie you up with talking about our next
You're right, I did. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. My fault. My bad.
No, it's
your turn.
Fine. It's fine. I mean, it's also something that is probably more concerning for you than it would be for me. But yeah, I will just cover the next tweet and then
No. Your turn. Take it.
Yeah. So the next tweet is also not by a Christian. It's by a guy who I think would be some sort of a deist or a weak theist, someone who holds to a concept of a first mover. Basically, is
Ah.
I think he announced on Twitter. He is also actually a former atheist turned theist because he was sort of convinced by the first mover logic, which I don't get, but that's his deal. Anyways, Tim, the bad stoic, had this to say. It is pretty clear we worship sports in very similar ways to how theists worship God. Hard to say you hate religion and you love sport, isn't it? Yeah.
Ugh. Fucking idiot. You know,
Yeah.
this is the thing. A lot of believers, Christians, Muslims, anything, they try to lie about the definitions of words to try and project onto other people. So they accuse other people of worshiping things because they can't imagine a worship-free existence, or they've been told it's impossible. They accuse other people of having faith in demonstrable realities. It's just more of the same bullshit. Like, people get wound up in sports. Some do. I don't really, but other people do. And fun, yeah, whatever. Knock yourself out. Have a good time.
Yeah. I myself am a huge football, or as people in America would call it, soccer fan.
Yes,
And
proper football.
yeah. And as often and like pretty much every time my team plays, I'm going to watch that game, and I will root for my team, and I will hope and be invested in it and hope that my team wins. But that is worship, and even if it was worship, then it still wouldn't be equating to religion because sports exists.
Burn.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree. Obviously, but also the think of like the things people say in worship. Think about trying to put that in a sports context.
Like, you mean like
Oh, great
praying to the Lord?
49ers, we come as worms before you. Please exalt us with your mighty power of what? Like that's not, none of that makes any sense. None of it. People get super excited and they have fun. They get actually a lot of the emotional highs that religion promises without the guilt and degradation and abuse and other rubbish that comes with faith. So basically, because faith offers a lot of emotional highs, it doesn't tell you that you have to manufacture them yourself after being sort of put through the ringer. So you can get a lot of those emotional highs from totally other things like sports, music, whatever you like, art, nature. It just beauty itself. It can give you the good bits that religion promises you more often and more consistently and better, and without the guilt and degradation of worship.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is, and I think they're pissy about that.
Yeah. Also, one thing which I would say about that is that even if we were to worship sports, and even like, I don't think that there would be anything intrinsically harmful about quote unquote worshiping sports, but I do think it's harmful that people worship gods or that people are religious and that sort of stuff. So
Well,
there,
nobody ever said, of course, you can buy a ticket to this game, but you have to admit that you're a worthless, vile sinner and you're only good enough to live because you've purchased a ticket to the Super Bowl.
and you don't deserve this victory by your team, but your team is still going to do its best in order to
Because
answer
of
your
their own
prayers.
virtue. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they are so generous and good.
Yeah.
You
But you
vile
don't
worm,
deserve
you.
it. You don't
No,
deserve to
not at
see
all.
that game. You don't deserve to see your team win, but your team is going to condescend down on you and win the game anyways.
Yeah, that's just fucking lovely. Why was I a Christian again? Oh, right, abusive indoctrination. Fuck that. Ugh. Anyway, well, I stole your next tweet, so you can steal back this one by Jan of another abusive psychotic woman type because, well, I stole yours, and also I kind of am going to want to punch the phone.
Yeah. First of all, credit goes out to at @IWearCrocs Jen with one N. She's a mutual friend of ours on Twitter, and she was kind enough to recommend this tweet for us for our show for Crazy
Oh, yeah.
tweets. So thanks, Jen. We have taken this into consideration, and yeah, it's also crazy, and we also want to share it with our viewers. So Jen V, Common Sense Jen, as is her handle on Twitter, said the following: "You can cry that all you want, but it won't change a thing. And the rampant sexualization of everything is only making it worse. If we're all evolved, why is it wrong? Is it wrong for a man to ogle or even grab what he wants? Animals don't ask permission." Yeah.
Stupid, stupid, stupid bitch.
Yeah.
Honestly, just reading other people's comments on, well, honestly, unrelated things, but just thicker than pig shit. As like, what? What?
Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't deny that they're probably within nature. There's also rape going on within the animal kingdom, and they don't ask for consent. That much is true. But just because we evolved to certain acts and just because something occurs within nature does not mean that we will have to support that.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit. Oh,
Evolution tells us how we came about. Evolution explains the diversity of life, but evolution does not inform our behaviors. We have
well,
other
this is,
systems which inform our
yeah,
behavior.
no, it's true. And it's ridiculous. I mean, her demand is ridiculous. This is part of what Christianity does. Are you familiar with the concept of the ether in physics?
I think I've heard of it, but I
Okay,
guess for
for those who
nobody
don't,
else, for the benefit of our viewers and for mine.
of course, of course.
You
Okay,
know.
before Einstein, um, it was believed that the universe was filled with ether. It was a near frictionless fluid gas, can't really tell, that was the reference frame through which everything moved. You know, the Earth moved through the Earth or ether around the sun through the ether around the cosmos, whatever. And this was considered to be, so slight it was nearly indetectable. So they contrived an experiment with light to try and detect the ether moving past the Earth. And I should have researched this beforehand. I would have all the names and everything. But basically, they sent a light out at right angles and bounce back. And if you twist it so that you're going directly into the ether in one direction, then one of those lines is moving in a triangle as opposed to just straight and back. So it'll be slightly off kilter. And this one scientist, very, very renowned for very precise experiments, he set this whole thing up in like a pool of mercury so that passing people walking couldn't disturb it. And he tried again and again and again to find and measure the ether. And he finally came to the conclusion that he couldn't, which led him also to the conclusion that the ether didn't exist. Yeah. Now, it was a huge thing in physics, like holy shit, because the thing is, the ether was the reference frame, theoretically, for everything in the universe. So how can you say anything is moving if it's not moving in relationship to a total reference frame? So then the Earth is moving around the sun, but that movement is in relation to another thing. It's sort of like what a lot of people mean when they ask for objective morality or objective something or other. They want an absolute external reference frame that removes any difficulties of, you know, looking at the relative importance of different things and basically just makes their life easier. That's what God is for people. He's the psychological equivalent of the ether. We can relate everything to him and then we don't have to worry about it. We don't actually have to think of nuance. So that every time you point out some part of that which doesn't fit their worldview, in the case of creationists' evolution, then they try and get evolution to fill all the gaps that they have shoved God in. And that's not reality. Reality is this thing has this answer. This totally different question has a different answer. It's not just all God.
Yeah. And also, just because God gives you an answer and evolution would sort of be against their view of God and against their specific God, just because that gives you an answer and that answer is not validated by the other theory, or by evolution, it doesn't mean that you necessarily are entitled to an answer. Like, we don't know is a viable answer.
Yeah, well, it's an honest one.
Yeah, and you are not entitled to have every question that you have that God answered for yourself in other issues before you are justified in no longer accepting God. Like, the burden of proof is not on the skeptic, it's on the believer. And just because God gives you psychological comfort and psychological closure doesn't mean that it's true or that it's reasonable to believe in God.
No, it isn't. And I mean, once you've observed God being a stopgap and an excuse enough times, it does tend to create the suspicion that maybe the concept is 100% bullshit. You know, it was bullshit the last 75 times we checked something related to it. Maybe it's still bullshit, just an idea. Yeah, it's basically, once a prognosis has failed enough times, I am justified in no longer giving it serious consideration.
Yeah.
That's just reasonable. Ugh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, God, to my mind, is a failed hypothesis. Whenever, like, when we think about God and when we think about what God existing would entail and what we would predict based on this hypothesis, and we don't observe what would be predicted by the hypothesis, your hypothesis sucks. Abandon it.
What he said. I really, really, really agree. Really agree, because oh my God, fuck that shit. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I can't take it anymore. It's like Sean Carroll says. Look at the history of, naturalism versus religion. Look at how many times religion said we have the answer and they didn't, and how many times naturalism looked for the answer and found one. If you have two horses and one has lost every one of 1,000 races and the other has won every one of 1,000 races, you can put your money on the first one, but you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're going to lose that money. Maybe you're just going for a long shot, but you're going to lose that money.
Yeah. And in our case, or in the case of the Christian, he hasn't just bet money, he has bet his life. Basically.
Yeah, his life, his soul, his dignity, his intellectual, emotional, and moral liberty. Basically anything of any value. What does it profit man if you gain the whole world and lose his soul? Well, not a whole fucking heck of a lot.
You want to go on to the next tweet?
No, this one, I stole your crazy woman. You get to steal. Oh, wait.
Like right now, I've had 3 tweets and you have had 2. So it's your
Okay,
turn
no, you're
next.
right. Oh, right. This one was from Leon. And thank you, Leon. This was a lovely little tweet that somebody put up. Some lunatic's driving around in a van. Surprise, surprise. And decides to put up this delightful sign on the side of it. Really huge sign, gotta say, very big. The Bible teaches that the people of this world are born with the spirit of Satan in them. They refuse to accept the truth of God and they will burn in hell. And Frankie Hollywood actually shared this particular gem and just said, hey, all I wanted was some peace and coffee on a Sunday afternoon. And as Leon said, doesn't it feel good to embrace your inner Satan? I don't know. Do you like embracing your inner Satan, Renee?
Yeah, I do. But one thing which I would ask the person who made that sign is, who is responsible for humans being born with Satan inside them? Wouldn't that be God on the Christian view? Why would he put Satan there?
Well, then, no, then that's the whole original sin. So we blame Adam, and Eve, mostly Eve. So then it's our fault somehow because collective guilt, even though that's an incredibly immoral and fucked up idea, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's fucking insanity.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, yes, sorry. That leads us to the last one. Now, I wanted to go over this together because this comes up frequently. There's this one nut job who puts out different signs of all the people who are going to hell.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a version of it that included ankle biters, which I believe they thought was some weird sexual thing as opposed to obnoxious toddlers. But this is a list of all the people who are going to hell. So, people will try and get themselves a score. And I thought it might be fun to do that ourselves. See, what are our chances of going to hell? How hellbound are Lilith and Renee? You got your list ready?
Yeah, I am looking at it right now.
Excellent. Well, actually, I'm going to get a little piece of paper and a pen, and let's go down. So, warning to all. Now, whores and whoremongers. I have never been or visited a prostitute, so I don't get that one.
Yeah, me neither.
Adulterers and adulteresses. Technically, I did have sex with someone before my divorce was finalized. Does that count?
I would say yes.
I'm going to take it because it gave me satisfaction. We were well and thoroughly separated. Don't misunderstand me. There was no actual cheating, but I'm pretty sure this asshole would call it adultery. So I'm going to take it. Okay. You've never been married, so I don't think you love that.
No.
Now, I got to ask, porn-loving masturbators, is this one thing or two?
I would say it's one thing, personally.
Okay. Well, because you could.
Yeah. Well,
you could masturbate without watching porn.
Yeah. But I would. Is it one or is it two?
I mean, you could also watch porn just for the lulz.
Yeah. I would say let's just make it two in order to increase our number. So that's 2 for me.
Yay! Extra points. Now, sodomites. I think he means homosexuals in this one, but technically the term sodomites Sodomy is any non like oral sex, anal sex, anything other than like vaginal sex.
Yeah.
So technically any form of sex that could not result in procreation. So I can take that one.
Yeah. Same.
I'm getting technical, but I want all the points I can get. Lesbians, alas, I cannot take that.
I think with girly men, he probably means transgender people.
Oh, is that what he means by manly women? Because I'm sure I'm not his version of feminine, but I also am
Like,
not particularly masculine either.
I think it would depend on how he defines those terms, but I would say girly men and manly women is probably people who don't dress their gender. That's how I would interpret it.
Okay. Honestly, I think he would likely interpret it more broadly, but I can see that as a dig at trans people or cross-dressers who are not trans. Thank you, people, for knowing what's going on in reality. But anyway. Okay, well then neither of us get that. Now, there seems to be more points available for women because immodest and rebellious women, I'm taking 2 points for that because fuck him. Rebellious and immodest. I'll flash my tits if I have to give it. But you are not a woman, so you don't get those. Haha.
Yeah.
Now, alcohol drinkers. I know we both get that.
Yeah, we get
Pot
that.
smokers.
No.
I live in Canada where it's legal, so I've definitely done it a couple times. I don't do it with any regularity, but I have done it, which I'm sure is quite enough for him.
Yeah.
But then, what is a drug head? Is that harder drugs?
I would say it's probably harder drugs.
Okay, I don't have that then. Now, tattoo getters. I don't have a tattoo. I'm planning to get a tattoo. Can I get a preemptive point on that? It's just a matter of saving and finding the right artist and matching up with my friend and making sure we get everything sorted.
I mean, like I would also plan to get a tattoo in the future, so I think we can both get that one.
I will get a tattoo just so I get extra hell points if I need to. But I already have one. Now, party animals. How would you interpret that?
I would say people who go to parties regularly.
Yeah, I don't really do that.
I mean,
I've been against them. I'm just,
I've been to 4 parties in the year 2019, so I would say that counts.
Okay, you get that one then.
Yeah.
Okay, so dirty dancers. I'm going to assume he doesn't require you to be professional, just club dancing. Again, not something I've done in a long time.
Yeah, same for me.
So, I mean, I have club danced at a club at some point during my life. Is that, what do you think?
Like you mean dirty dancing as in just dancing at a club, or dirty dancing as in, yeah, like sexually?
I mean, I assume like grinding or sexual, like dancing that might turn someone on. But again, I don't really think I can get this one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, potty mouths.
Yep.
Apparently he's a fucking 5-year-old. Oh, shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. There.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would give it to me.
Yeah, I would also get it. Like I use the F word almost daily, so.
Good. Blasphemers.
I don't think I can get that point.
We get this one.
Nah. Me and blasphemy? What are you talking about?
Yeah, fuck the motherfucker, fuck the motherfucker, fuck the motherfucker, he's a fucking motherfucker. Fuck the motherfucker, Pope. I don't know. Tim mentioned song. So that gets both of them. Although he might not consider insulting the Pope blasphemy. Well, fuck God. So there, blasphemy. Yay! Yeah. Now, liars. I don't lie. Do you lie?
Well, I have lied in the past, probably.
I must have.
I don't regularly lie, but I would be lying if I said that I've never told a lie in my life. So
Right. Well,
it's a matter of how frequent would once in a lifetime lying count as you being a liar, wouldn't it? It's a
well,
matter
and
of
that's the thing. There's an occasion to lie. There are occasions where it's a virtuous thing. No, Mr. Nazi, of course I don't have any Jews in my basement. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's a good lie. Good lie. But yeah, I don't. Lying is very unnatural to me. Like it just it's very hard for me to lie. Like if I had to protect myself or someone else, I could do it. But eh.
I mean,
Gossipers. Sorry, go ahead.
like with lying, it's a matter of how frequent he would say it, but I probably wouldn't take that point for me.
Yeah, I've even asked my parents because, of course, people use the Ray Comfort thing. Oh, have you ever told a lie? And I was like, not that I remember. Are you saying you've never lied? I'm saying no. I'm saying I don't recall lying. And I've even, asked my mom, hey, mom, do you remember a time when I lied? And she's like, well, I'm sure you lied at some point. I'm like, yeah, I know. But can you actually recall a time in my childhood, youth, adulthood, where I actually lied and I lied? And she's like, I mean, I'm sure you did, but I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
I've asked friends, I've asked. So I'm not taking that one because I actually hate lying, and I'm not, yeah. It probably happened at some point is not the same thing as a yes. Gossipers.
Yep. I take that one.
Okay. Have I gossiped? Well, I suppose I don't really gossip all that often, but I mean, it's there. Thieves.
I've never stolen anything, so no.
When I was your age, I hadn't either. I once took a lipstick. I can take it. That might have been accidental. Doesn't matter. It counts.
Yeah. Gangster rappers. I do listen to rap, but I don't rap myself, so I'm not gonna take that one.
I mean, people have seen me. I'm the least fucking gangster person you will ever see in your life. Yeah. But I really do like Graydon Square, for example. So yeah, I don't know. Also, rock and rollers. Is that people who listen to rock and roll or people who perform rock and roll?
I think it's about performing rock and roll.
Maybe then the people who enjoy it are entertainment and sports worshippers.
Yeah, I have to take that one.
Okay. I don't think I can. I mean, I like entertainment. And I'd get the Philip DeFranco sports shirt to, go with a friend to a sports game. But I just don't care enough to even pretend that it could be called worship in any sense.
I wouldn't say I worship sports, but I regularly watch it, so.
Right, you actually follow it. Look,
yeah.
To a degree that is beyond.
I
is
would
that
say
on? Cool.
Like I would say if he means literal worship of sports and entertainment, then yeah, I wouldn't get it, but I don't think anyone would get it, so.
True. If we were going to be pedantic on that one. Now,
Yeah.
what the fuck is a jewelry worshiper?
I don't know, but I'm not one.
I like jewelry, but I don't really wear it all that often, so I don't think I can take that. Parent haters. I love my parents. No.
Can't take that one.
Bitter people.
Nope.
I'm not actually bitter, but I'm sure he would consider me bitter because I don't have Tajibis in my life.
Yeah. Merciless devils, no.
No, I'm quite compassionate most of the time.
Yeah. I'm also not an occult witch.
Or a sorcerer. Is there a quick spell I can cast so I can get that one? I know it's not real, but it doesn't matter. I don't know. Hail Satan. Expelliarmus. There you go. Okay, I'm taking that one because fuck
Yeah,
that guy. I want all the
then
points I can get.
Yeah, I also want to have that one then.
You're right. We love Harry Potter. I'm sure
Yeah.
he considers that the same thing.
Yeah.
Money-hungry career pursuers.
Now,
Again,
I want to pursue a career, but I'm not doing it for monetary reasons primarily, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm certainly not money hungry. I mean, most people do pursue careers because you have to be a functional adult most of the time.
I would say the emphasis here is on career pursuers, so yeah, I would take that one.
I think he's on money hungry. Okay, yeah, I can't really. Envious and thankless idolaters. Not really. And
Nope.
not
We
really.
don't believe in God, so
I don't worship anything. I came out to my parents as atheist by thanking them instead of God for making dinner. So that's not thankless. And envy is really a waste of energy. So I don't think I get that. Prideful scoffers. We can do that one, especially with God mockers.
Also.
Sorry?
Also God mockers.
Hell yeah.
I'm also a Bible skeptic. I'm an evolutionist, a pro-choicer. I don't think I can take atheist. Kidding.
Oh, did you miss atheist? Okay, sorry, got it. Okay, so this, right, I'm losing track. Cult witches, now envious and thankless idolaters. Yeah, see, none of that. Prideful scoffers, yes, God mockers, Bible skepticism, atheist, evolution, pro-choice. Two-faced church members, obviously not, because fuck church. Also, I was never two-faced when I was there, at least not to my knowledge. If anyone ever got that impression, I apologize, but no. Yeah. Backsliders. I did believe and I don't, so that counts, right?
What did you believe in?
I was a Christian, and now I don't. Yeah. So that would be backsliding, wouldn't it? To him.
I think so.
Obviously. Okay, Muslims, Buddhist, Hindu, Hare Krishna. No. New Age gurus. I mean, I laughed at
Witnesses. Fuck no.
No, fuck no. Mormons. Hell no. Christ rejecting Jews. Drama. Oh, and Mary worshipping Catholics. No. You bastard. And sin-friendly heresy teachers. Now, he probably means like any other denomination that he doesn't agree with that he didn't mention. But I'm pretty sure what we talk about is also heresy from his perspective. So I want to take that one.
And we're also sin-friendly, so yeah.
Yeah, we are absolutely sin-friendly. Have you some gay sex and some alcohol. Life is good. Or straight sex. Just make sure it's fornication or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And every other form of life that is contrary to the holy law of God. I'm taking 1 extra point for that because I'm not going over all 613 laws, but I'm wearing mixed fabrics, so fuck that.
Yeah, also for me then.
Hell awaits you if you do not abandon your sin and run to Christ for mercy. Oh no, please, wait, stop. All right, it's time to tally the scores. What did you get, Renee?
I've not actually written down how many I have. I thought that you were doing that for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was keeping track of mine. I thought you were keeping track. Okay, quick. We'll go back to the list. No whore, no whoremonger. No, you've never been married. Okay, porn-loving masturbator. Were you taking 1 or 2 for that?
2.
Sodomite. Technically, you've had the sex of the not insert tab A into slot B variety.
Yeah.
You're not a woman, alcohol drinker, no pot, smoke, drug. We were giving each other tattoo because hells yeah. Party animals.
Yes.
Yes.
Potty mouth,
not dirty.
Blasphemer.
Potty mouth, blasphemer.
Gossiper.
You were going to take gossiper, not thieves, gangster, entertainment, sports worshiper. You could take that because to sports, jewelry worshippers, I don't know. Parents, is merciless, occult witches and sorcerers, hail Harry Potter, or something. money-hungry career pursuers.
I did check that one.
Right. Though you're not money-hungry, but it is a technically
Career
a
pursuer,
career
yeah.
that makes good money. So
Yeah.
not the point, but who cares? Envious and thankless, no. Prideful scoffers, God mockers, Bible skeptics, atheist, evolutionist, pro-choice, no. You're not a backslider, really, are you?
No.
Okay, but you're a sin-friendly heresy teacher and one additional all other contrary to God. Okay, so your score is 20.
Yay.
And by virtue of having a few extra things, particularly for women, my score is 24. So I am going to hell harder than you, Renee. Woohoo!
Damn it. Well, that was a fun exercise, I think.
That was. Okay, well, I'll see what else I can get on there. I'm sure a woman would let me make out with her just to make sure I get the extra tab. But okay. All right. Well, at least we have our list of goals, although I'm not becoming a Mormon for anything, or a Jehovah's Witness, or a Muslim. Oh, good Lord. No.
Or Catholic.
Ugh, no. I am never letting a child go unattended into a Catholic anything.
Yeah.
Well, I hope if you've followed along, you will leave your score in the comments below. Yeah, if you can think of any other ways we can get more points, leave that in the comments below as well. I guess that's everything for us today. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Crazy Christian Tweets. Do join us again on our to cast your vote with regard to changing the name of this series to reflect our more interfaith blasphemy and mockery. We will talk to you all again next week, and reason bless.